Hey, Caleb here, the founder of Patriot Training Center, and today I am letting you come along on a range trip with me, and I'm getting some practice in. And today I figured I would focus on some marksmanship fundamentals. B8 target up there, not my favorite target in the world, but accuracy is important, so I'm going to practice it. So I think what I'm going to do here, well, I know what I'm going to do is I'm definitely going to shoot both hands, but also dominant and non-dominant hand. But I'm going to do that at different distances. So I'm going to start out at 5 yards, and then I'm going to work my way back, probably 7, 10, 15, 25, see what we're doing here. I think all the way back at 25, non-dominant, I'm not sure how much I'm going to get out of that. Dominant hand, I am kind of interested in that, so I'm going to give that a shot, I think. But I definitely want to get in both of the dominant and non-dominant hand work because I think that's important, and I've identified that as something that I'm lacking a little bit of skill, that I would like to bring that up. So that's what I'm going to do. So at 5 yards, definitely focusing on accuracy here. The speed is not the thing that we're measuring. So, I'll draw probably, but then I'll make sure to confirm my sights and just try to put the holes, right on top of each other as best as I can do, okay? Alright, so I think that was about 5 each. And I know exactly which shots are which. I can point them out to you here, but this was on one of the on the dominant hand. Sorry, this is a little low for me. All these were in the string of fire with both hands. And actually, at 5 yards, there's an offset with the dot. You have to account for offset when you're up close. This dot's zeroed at 10 yards. So there's a little bit of an offset. So with the dot here in the X ring, I was dropping these a little bit low. And then on the non-dominant, I broke this one just a little bit high. Sorry, on the dominant hand, I broke this one a little bit high as well. That's just not putting it perfectly where I need it. And then non-dominant threw these couple down here, but the rest are exactly where I wanted them. So looking good, pretty good right there. So what I will do is make sure that I have marked those, and then I'm going to move it back. Some interesting results there. Okay, so majority of everything just still shooting the hole out of the center here with most of those. Okay, and going a little fast for the two-handed string, but these were all non-dominant, so definitely pushing those off to the right just a little bit. So I need to work on the trigger press there. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Still a little bit low because I'm aiming here at the center of the X string. So at those distances, I should actually be aiming just a little bit higher up here to account for the offset of the red dot that's on the pistol there. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's teaching me some stuff here that I'm going to work on with my non-dominant hand and trying to remember what was happening when those shots broke. So I believe all of the two-handed strings went well, except I threw one to the right. I pushed into it, I think, at the last second with my support hand. And the rest were in the black. Non-dominant, or dominant was in the black. And then I definitely threw 1, 2, 3. Non-dominant. This one as well. And otherwise in the black here. So still seeing the same on the non-dominant mistake that I'm making there. So I'm going to be very careful on dry fire now when I'm doing that trigger press, watching the sights, and if they dip even a little bit to the right, then I know that the input that I'm putting into the gun when I get out here and I try it for real, it's going to cause me to miss pretty extreme there. So get a lot out of that. So what I'm going to do now is actually just go back a little closer, and I'm just going to practice on shooting tight groups, because the truth is it's a lot less walking. And you can go ahead and get pretty close. But if you can just, stack shots one on top of each other here in this little ring, even if it's only 3 or 5 yards, then, as you back up, that's going to translate to more accuracy back there. So there's a lot of value out of doing certain drills like that. Our director of training, Jeff, loves the parrot drill, which is what we call these little circles that are on the side of the target, of the silhouette target. Looks like a parrot sitting on the shoulder. And you shoot those from up close, but if you can hit those tiny little 2-inch, 3-inch circles, whatever they are, that does translate to the regular B8 size or 8 ring, or kind of a more realistic size target when you get back to 25. And there's a lot less walking back and forth, and pasting and stuff like that is a little easier. So anyways, that's a little bit of a sneak peek into marksmanship practice that I'm doing here. Like I said, I'm going to continue with this. And again, like I was saying before, the problems I identified here on live fire with my non-dominant hand specifically, I know for sure, I'm going to go back to dry fire, and that's going to give me an extra cue, something to think about, a mental cue for me to think about. I need to be paying attention to this thing, because when I get out here and I do it for real, I'm missing, consistently because of this one problem here. Okay, so you practice that stuff in dry fire, you come out and you test it and see if you got rid of the problem. So that's a super simple thing to do. Our dry fire program down in the description below is completely free, and it will get you started in the right direction. So I will see you in the next one.